Hey y'all, today I'm going to show you how to knit fingerless gloves. So this is a super simple, easy project. Just knit with a little bit of purl in there so you don't have to have any seams to sew up because I hate sewing seams. You just have an end and a beginning and an end to weave in and that's it. So these are just super fun for like this time of year when the weather's starting to get a little bit cooler. So let's get started. Okay, so I posted a video yesterday on how to knit in the round. So I'm not really going to go through this super fast, or I mean slow, because I'm probably going to go through this fast is what I was trying to say. Because I went through that a little bit slower yesterday in that video. So you can go back and watch if you're not familiar with knitting in the round. So what we're going to do is we're going to cast on 30 total. So it's going to be 10 on each needle. And so we're going to do that to get started. So we'll cast on, go through and do 10 on each, use 3 needles, and so that we have a total of 30. Okay, so we've got 30 stitches total. We've got 10 on each. And so we're just going to join. Make sure you don't twist your stitches. Go ahead and join your knitting there. And we are going to just knit in the round for 10 rounds. So like I said, this is a really, really simple thing. So we're just basically going through and knitting all the way around for 10 rounds. And so then we'll start the thumb hole. So this is just basically pretty, like I said, this is pretty quick and easy. It maybe takes me 2 or 3 hours to knit a pair maybe. I don't know, I haven't really timed myself, but these are pretty fast to do. Of course, the first round is always a little slower, just like knitting or crocheting. It's like going into your beginning, row or round. It's always just a little bit slower. So you're just going to keep knitting around for 10 rounds, and then we'll come back and I will show you how to do the thumb hole. Okay, so we have knit 10 rounds of our fingerless gloves. And one thing I realized I forgot to mention, I'm using size 8 5mm knitting needle and just some worsted weight yarn. This is the, I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby. I forgot to mention that at the beginning. But anyways, so we've knit 10 rounds. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make the thumb hole. So to do that, instead of normally we were going to keep going around. We're going to turn our work and we're going to purl. So we're going to purl all the way around until we get back to the beginning, and then we'll switch to knit. And so we're basically going back and forth to make the thumb hole. So we will purl all the way around until we get back to the beginning. And like, with some things you can use, like if you need to use a stitch marker to mark the beginning of your rounds and stuff, I like because I leave my tail, then I know exactly where the beginning is. So that's always helpful with this. So you're just basically going to purl all the way. And again, I do have some basic tutorials from the beginning of the year of how to knit and purl. So if you need to know how to purl, with that, I do have basic video on that. But yeah, so it's just basically like, knit, you normally go that way. So purl, you insert the opposite way and then wrap your yarn and then pull it off. Again, I do have some that go through it a little bit slower. So we'll go all the way to the end of the round. Okay, so we are back. We've purled all the way around, and so we're back here at the beginning. So we're going to turn our work back. So we're not going to keep purling. We're going to turn our work, and then we're going to knit. And so we're going to knit around all 3 needles there. And so you're just going to go back and forth. So you'll end up having a gap right here, and that's going to be your thumb hole. So basically with this, we're going to do 12 rows like this. So if that purl row, that counts as row 1. And then the knit rows are the even rows. The purl rows are the odd rows. And so this is row 2 here. And so we're going to go back and forth along here until we get to, on our 12th one, we'll join back. So I will pause this and do that. So you can pause if you want, if you're working on this in real time, and just keep knitting. And then when you get to the end of that, purl and then knit and then purl and then knit back and forth until you have completed 12 rows like that. Okay, so once you have done 12 rows back and forth, purl, knit, so the even rows are knit, so you should be on row 12 and it's knit there. And so when you get back to the beginning, you're just going to join. So you've got your space here, and we're going to join it back. So we're just going to go, rather than turning your work like you were doing with purling, we're just going to go through and join right there. So make sure you pull it tight so there's not a gap, and just knit. And then you're just going to keep knitting around. That's basically with this part. So you can see I've joined there, and I'm just going to keep knitting around and around and around and around for about 3 inches. So we'll keep going there. So this is my sample one. So it's about 3 inches that I'm going to knit. And so you'll just knit until it's as long as you want it there. And then I will show you a stretchy bind off that I use that helps keep it from make sure you don't have it too tight there. So just knit for 3 inches, and then I'll show you the stretchy bind off. Okay, so once you have knitted about 3 inches past the thumb hole, then you're ready to bind off. And so to do that, so like I said, I have a kind of stretchier bind off that I like to use. So what we're going to do is we're just going to knit our first stitch, just like normal. Then we're going to do a yarn over. And then we're going to knit the next stitch. And then we're going to pull the second yarn or the first there, and then that one over there. So you basically pull it over, pull it over. Then we do a yarn over. Then we knit the next stitch. And then we pull that middle one over that one there, and then pull that next one over that one. So you're basically kind of pulling 2 over that first, that last one there that you did. And so you could kind of do it all at once, but I find it easier to kind of do it one at a time, because then sometimes it tries to slip off. If I try to like pull both of these over that one at the same time, so I just kind of pull that over that and then pull that over that. So then you're pulling both of those over top of that. And so you're just going to keep doing this all the way around. So you're going to do a yarn over, you're going to knit, and then pull each of those stitches over that one, the last one that you knit. Okay, and then pull it over, and you're just going to keep doing this all the way around. So when you get to the end of your first needle, we're almost there, and you'll just kind of drop down. You'll have one less needle, but it creates a very stretchy bind off. It probably has a name. I have no clue. I kind of came up with it, but I'm sure I'm not the first person to come up with this. So, I mean, I don't lay claim to the creation of this, and so I have no name for it. It's just, like I said, I found it's a very nice stretchy doing that yarn over in there. So I set down my needle because I've knit the last one there, and so you're just going to keep going down, and you'll kind of, if you've never worked with double pointed needles again, before, you've got like all those extras. So we'll just keep going around till we get to the last stitch. Okay, so I'm finishing up this last stitch on here and pull it over these last few ones here, and then we'll cut the yarn. Oops. And then pull it through, and we're done. So, and you can weave in your ends there, and so the ends kind of roll up a little bit because this is stockinette stitch, so that's normal. I like the look of it, so that's, this is, like I said, it's a super, super simple pattern, but it's just kind of fun. And so it has a really, really stretchy, you can kind of see that stretches a lot for the bind off, a lot more than a traditional bind off does, and so I like that. It just gives it kind of a fun look there. And anyways, then you'll just make another one, and then you have your set of fingerless gloves, and just do the other one exactly the same way. You don't have to do left, right, anything, because it's the thumb hole. You can kind of move around wherever. So hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial. Have a good day.